Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is the Beyerdynamic MMX150. This is a closed-back studio-grade gaming headset that's wired and comes with a USB connection and the option of 3.5mm connection, so it'll work with both console and PC. This is an unboxing review video to talk to you about my experiences with this headset and what it's like. The first thing I want to note is the voiceover for this video is being completed entirely using the microphone with this headset, and that is one of the most striking things about it, because as you can hear, this has a fantastically high quality, superbly awesome microphone on it. Really impressed by it, really blown away by it, not just because of the capture quality of it, which is comparable to a dedicated microphone, but also because of how good it does a job of blocking out external surrounding noise. I've used this microphone to capture voiceovers for previous recent videos where my wife was talking in the background in the same room to someone else on a video call and she couldn't be heard, and I think that's a sign of how wonderful it is. So it's a really good quality microphone, and this obviously is one focus of it, but there are a number of other things worth talking about as well. There are a few hidden highlights of this headset that make it appealing. Obviously it's a Beyerdynamic headset, so you already know you're going to get high quality, really good sound out of it. It's very rich, but more on that a little bit later on. It's also designed to work with this augmented sound mode, which I'll talk a bit more about as well, and it obviously has a wonderful setup in terms of the comfort, the design and the style of it, although comfort is potentially an issue, and I feel that is one area that it fails on, but I'll discuss that with you a bit later on, so stick with me for the full rundown on this. And you'll see inside the box you get a removable microphone and a little quick start guide which gives you some clues as to the functionality of the headset and what you can do with the single volume wheel on the headset itself, because that's actually multifunctional, so it's worth knowing that. You also get a couple of cables included in the box for different use cases, so as I said, this can be used on PC or on console. It has a 1.2 meter 3.5mm connection cable or a 2.4 meter USB-C cable that you can plug into it. And you do get the better experience using USB because that opens up some of the functionality. What you'll see is a very familiar Beyerdynamic design here, and that's no bad thing. A nice solid extendable headband, stretches out nice and large. It has some good padding on the top and some nice plush memory foam ear cushions as well. This has 40mm drivers capable of up to 32 ohms of impedance, but importantly it's designed to work really well, and it's been tuned specifically for gaming. So these are studio grade headphones but designed for gamers, so it's not like the DT770s for example. These are gamer specific, and yet there's no RGB lighting or anything excessive like that. Now the first thing I want to show is that you can remove the ear cups. They just twist off. You just turn them counterclockwise and then they just pop off, and you can see some notches under there. One of the things you'll spy is some very leery orange accents to it, and if you're wondering what's going on with my fingernails, my daughter wanted to paint them, so I let her, because you don't say no to your daughter, and so that's why there's some leery colours on my fingernails. And then here you can see a little volume wheel, and that is multifunctional, and actually when it's plugged in with a USB-C connection it actually lights up in different colours as well. Not that you can see that when you're wearing the headphones, but it is interesting. You'll also note there's a tiny little hole there at the bottom of the orange line down the side, and what that's for is the augmented sound mode, because when you plug in the USB cable, these are closed back headphones that are capable of blocking out surrounding noise, but if you plug in the USB-C to USB-A connection, you can turn on augmented mode, which uses those little microphones on the outside to give you like an open back style, so you can actually hear things going on in the room, which is pretty interesting, because that basically means that for the most part you can focus on your game and block out a lot of external noise, sounds of your children playing or just cars going past, whatever else. Focus on the game as you want to, But then if you need to hear more, if someone comes in and wants to talk to you, all you have to do is press and hold that orange button to open up that open augmented mode and be able to hear more of your environment. It's a pretty interesting setup. This also means if you want to hear yourself talking more clearly with the microphone, because it doesn't have side tone on it, so you can't hear yourself through the microphone, you can turn on that augmented mode as well, and then you can hear your own voice more clearly. So what you see in there is already interesting highlights to it. Now it's worth noting that those functions do not work if using the 3.5mm connection. So I've tested this with a 3.5mm on PC connected to my Go XLR, so I can mic monitor my standard microphone and also just experience what it's like in 3.5mm. You don't have access to the augmented sound mode, and you also can't use the volume wheel to control the volume of the headset either. So it becomes kind of dumb in a 3.5mm connection mode, at least on PC in that mode. Obviously if you're using it on console you have a different experience because it recommends plugging it into the controller, and then you can use it that way and get the most out of both the sound and the microphone in that setup. But on PC, USB connection is where it's at, and that's where it shines the most. Now in terms of the sound, I found this to be a very rich headset. It delivers really good sound, a good precise positional audio in FPS games. So I've been using it to play Rainbow Six Siege, Ready or Not and other games like that, for example, and I found it to be really rich. Also fantastic bass, really strong bass, and a really detailed sound for music, movies and for gaming. And so all in all I was impressed by the audio of it. Obviously the style of it is very nice as well. It has an understated design style to it, apart from those orange accents which obviously make it stand out, but there's no RGB lighting, and yet it's a solidly designed, really well built headset with a really nice build quality to it. And overall, for the most part at the moment, some fantastic things going on here, and one that I'd recommend, especially when I heard the microphone. When I first heard the microphone, so impressed by the capture quality of the microphone, really impressed by it. It's very, very good quality. The one thing, however, that lets it down for me is the comfort. Now, don't get me wrong, when you first start wearing a headset, it's obviously a very good comfort. The ear cups, as you can see, have a nice plush finish on them, and they sit nicely on the head too, and I'll show you a bit about how that extends and turns in a minute. But the ear cups just aren't big enough. Because of the round shape of them, I found that they are squashing my ear in all directions, and there's not enough inner room either, so there's not enough depth to the ear cups, which means that the drivers are pushing against my ears and the ear cups are squashing my ears. So although I could wear them for a few hours and it's okay, after a lengthy period, so if I'm wearing them all day listening to music for work and whatever else and then going on to gaming in the evening, I found that by the end of it they start to become very uncomfortable, to the point I just can't use them anymore and I have to take them off and swap for something else. And that's a real shame, because it is a fantastic setup in terms of everything else, but it's really let down by the round nature of the ear cups and the slightly thin, shallow ear cup design as well. And that's a real shame, because obviously this faux leather setup and the good padding on there and the closed back design means it blocks out a lot of external noise and allows you just soak up all the game sounds or the music or whatever else you're doing and really get into it. Another small complaint that I've got is the cabling. The cables have a texture to them, which means that they are sort of rough, and the result of this is when it's rubbing on your clothes you can actually hear it in the ear cup. So if you're moving your head around a lot, I found that I can just hear that through into the ear cup, and that does spoil some of the audio. It's not picked up by the microphone because, as I said, there's no side tone, so you can't hear yourself through the microphone when you're using it, unfortunately. But as I said, the microphone does do a fantastic job of blocking out surrounding noise. I've not noticed it picking up keyboard sounds, for example, and sounds of other people in the nearby proximity as well. So impressive. I can't tell you how impressed I am by that headset microphone. I've seen a lot of headsets and very rarely am I that impressed. The Corsair Virtuoso headsets had a fantastic mic, but this might be the best I've ever heard and the best at cancelling out external noise. So on the head you can see it's adjustable. It's obviously a large headband that feels like it's very durable and strong, and you can adjust it in size, and you can see there's a good bit of tilt up and down in the ear cups as well. Not so much side to side, but certainly up and down, so it is possible to position it nicely to fit nicely on the head and give have a good comfort and a good clamping force as well. It's not going to fly off. It feels like it's clamping to the head nicely. Perhaps a little bit on the tight side. Some might find it obnoxious. If you don't like the headset clamped tight to your head, that might be a problem. But it really does support the closed back nature of it. And so all told, a fantastic headset with one small caveat that if you have larger ears, you may find this uncomfortable. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Thanks for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting, hilarious, or otherwise. Take a look at these other videos that I think you might find interesting as well. And have a look at the description for links and other information you might find useful. Click that join button to see the benefits of being a member of my YouTube channel. And most importantly, have a great life.